coming and sharing with us today. I'm Reverend Portia Cavett, President of the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance, and I'm happy to say that standing with us in this community press conference in response to the officer-involved shooting of Steven Phipps Jr., that I have Leo Lewis. To my left, Reverend T. Michael Williams of the NAACP, City Councilwoman Juanita Johnson, and then First Vice President Alvin McCruel of IMA, and to my right is Janessa Plunkett, family members that are here with us. And so we will give our statements and share after seeing the police coverage and the video for the first time. It's been 5 days since this incident happened on September the 28th, which was a month and a day after Mr. Cameron Ford's no-knock warrant, where he was likewise killed in his home. And so if we are having a police-involved shooting every month, we are concerned as a community, and we realize that statements were made, and Mr. Steven was going away from the cops, and when the gun was out, it was not pointed at the officers, and as he was going over the fence, that's when you hear that first shot, and then as he's falling down, yes, the gun might have been pointed that way, but it was falling out of his arms. And for Chief Smotter to say that the community or the people that was at the transit station might have been in danger or whatever, for this officer, and I can't even remember his name at this point, but for him to shoot 8 times toward the North Omaha Metro Station, he was wrong. And there is no reason that Steven is not here with us today. He lawfully could carry that gun, but I don't believe that he was any threat to the officer. So I'm going to allow others to talk, because there are other things that we want to lift up in this press conference that we want to state about this case. Leo.
I would just start by saying condolences to the family and condolences to our community, because there's a great sadness in our community, especially among black males who are currently in fear for their lives. Oftentimes we talk about how officers are in fear for their lives, but we don't speak about the fact that everyday average people are currently afraid of interactions with police at this current time. I believe that Mr. Phipps may have needed to be more educated about his possessing of a firearm, may have been more educated about a traffic stop, but he did not deserve to lose his life for his lack of knowledge that was not imparted upon him based on a system that does not encourage for young black males, or anyone else for that matter, to receive the information that they need to properly and adequately learn how to behave during a traffic stop. This is not something that is taught in public schools. This is not something that you find in a class. This is something that you have to learn through the streets and through people. And it's unfortunate that it appears that Mr. Phipps learned early that his interactions with police were very dangerous. Given the record and the charges that were displayed on the news, it is clear evidence that Mr. Phipps was being profiled and consistently harassed by the Omaha Police Department. Given that these were just charges and not convictions, that is again evidence of racial profiling or psychological profiling on Mr. Phipps, and we will continue to pursue justice in this matter. Again, condolences to our community as a whole, because this is a sad day for us. Thank you.
I'm Pastor T. Michael Williams, President of the Omaha NAACP, and I agree. I want to just simply say Black Lives Matter. And it's a shame that there's a mother and a family grieving today. In my opinion, it's unnecessary. In my opinion, the young man did not need to, did not deserve to be shot. I think something has to be done as it relates to understanding how police are trained and what the procedure that they are taught is, because it just seems like the moment they see a gun, they shoot, and that's this situation. So I certainly agree with what Mr. Lewis has said, and I look forward to hearing more. We're concerned about other aspects of this as well. I can't speak of that at this point, but just want you to know this is an initial set of comments, and there is more to come.
Good afternoon. As already been stated, my name is Juanita Johnson. I am the City Council elected official for this district, and this is a sad day for this community. First, I would like to acknowledge the Phelps family. My heart goes out to them. Anyone losing a loved one, it is a traumatic situation. And out of that respect, I'm going to be limited about what I really feel about this situation, because I feel that that family needs to be uplifted in prayer. Our attention should be given to them to give them all the assistance that they need to begin the healing process. To my community, I am so elated for us coming together on one accord and addressing some social issues that we are having in our community. I also would like to talk a little bit about the law that was put in place regarding concealed weapons. I remember when this conversation came up in City Council, and I voted against this being a law or available for us to carry concealed weapons, because I knew the impact of what that would look like to my community. I knew that from two perspectives: one, from the individual that would be carrying the weapon, and two, from the police perspective. As I stated, the police needed training to recognize that now that this is a law, how would they navigate in that new arena? Have we provided them with the tools that they need to navigate with these new circumstances? Even when we look at the media, we see the out and out picture of the gun being a #1 factor in this equation. Well, again, we have the ability to carry weapons now. So that is not something that's odd or wrong or different. That's a reality. So now we need to, as a community, talk about what that reality really means, and do we need to educate not only the police department, but our community at large?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We need to change the law.
Good evening. My name is Pastor Alvin McCrew, First Vice President, Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance. Certainly, my prayers and condolences go out to the family and the loss of their loved one. Things just have to change, because it appears that black lives have no value when it comes to policing. And it also appears that it's actually a form of genocide, because of the fact that killing off black males also helps to cut down on black births. And I'm very concerned about what I see happening here, because I've noticed that everyone who's shot and killed has been black. And I know that black people are not the only ones who carry guns. So there is an imbalance in the system, and the system definitely needs to change. Otherwise, we just continue going down the road that we're going down. And the community is suffering, families are suffering, and this actually caused the city to suffer, because things like this, you have blacks who are on edge, wondering if they're next. And that creates another problem. And we don't want this to become a war zone, wherein black men have to feel like anytime they see a policeman that they are a target on their backs, and they have to defend themselves from those who are supposed to be protecting them. So we definitely, there has to be a coming together, there has to be a change, because this will only bring about destruction of families, destruction of the community, and eventually destruction to the city. Thank you.
My name is Janisha Plunkett, and I'm here on behalf of my cousin Alexis Paz. We just want justice for Steve. He wasn't a bad kid. He loved people, he loved his family. He was really a real good kid. He was funny, he was outgoing. He didn't deserve this. Watching the video and seeing it, you could tell he was scared. They never once stated how his guns is registered. Yes, he could have helped it a different way, but why? Why shoot and gun him down when he's telling you he has his hands up? We just really want justice. My cousin, she can't even be here to speak on her son's behalf because she's hurt, she's broken. We're trying to keep the faith in the Lord because we know that He is going to provide and get justice for her son. This is so hard. He didn't deserve that. Y'all scared him. Y'all harassed him for over like a year and a half. I watched my cousin fear for her son's life for the longest time. She will always say her biggest fear was that he was scared. He was terrified of the cops. He will call his mother all the time and say, "They pulling me over, come here." Those cops played in his face multiple times. They made him intimidated by them. They wasn't serving to protect him on no way. They laugh in our faces as we grieve and we hurting. It has to stop. It's hurtful. It's just hurtful how they just stereotype our young boys. If they have tattoos, if they have this, they have that. It's hard, but we just really want justice because he was not what they're trying to make him out to be. And they know that. They know they harassed him, and they know what they did. All we want is justice for him. Y'all can't keep running around here doing this to our young boys. Y'all have everybody scared. Like, it makes no sense in the world. He didn't deserve it. He was such a good kid. All those charges was harassment. And a lot of those times his mama came to those scenes and she know. We have footage of them harassing him, scared to pull over. They didn't even know. They've been targeting him for whatever reason, I have no idea. But he been a target. And he did not deserve that. So we just come in here just wanting justice for an innocent young man. that don't get to even have his future. You know, these cops, I just want to know, like, we all have jobs that we have to do. And not one time our jobs consider us hurting someone. If you have a job, you want to do your job to your best ability. How are y'all doing your jobs? By killing people and going home and sleeping well. We just want justice.
So you've heard from different community members and especially from the family. So there are those questions. How many times was Steven Phipps Jr. pulled over by the officers, and for what reason? Was he being racially profiled? Was he being harassed? What was his fear of the cops that made him get out of his car and walk toward or run toward the fence to get away from the officer? And why is it that the officers are fearing for their lives when they see an African American male? You were not on a hunt, because even when you are hunting an animal, you will shoot one time because you'll make sure you get that perfect shot. But 8 times, that's overkill. He was on the ground and the officer continued to shoot him. We need to look at this. We need to look at the police procedures and the policies that they have. Yes, we have a gun problem, but that is not the African American community's problem. That is a national problem. But in Omaha, we have a police-involved shooting problem. We need to address that. Omaha is a safe city, but is it safe for African American males? Everyone has a gun. Why is it that an African American who has legal use of a gun is dead? We have to ask ourselves these questions and to come to some grips and to get answers. I know that Chief Smotter said that he is working with the community and he's going to the community meeting, Omaha 360. No offense against Omaha 360, but that is not the community. Most of the people in Omaha 360 are persons from organizations that serve in the community around crime prevention or intervention. We still need police, Chief Smotter, Mayor Gene Stothard, and others to have conversations with the residents of the community. Those of us that pay taxes, those of us that are wondering why this continues to happen. And so on Sunday, we will have a town hall meeting here at 4 p.m. for the community to come and to talk and to share their feelings and their concerns so that we can come to some conclusion. We will have something later where we will invite our elected officials and Chief Smotter in, but the community needs to have a place to vent and to be heard, because no one is really listening or helping them to understand what is happening. As I've stated in another interview, we are now in the month of October. I'm going to plead with the residents in North Omaha for this month. If you have a firearm, or if the police pull you over or you are carrying, please disclose, please say that. Please stop and follow whatever commands they have. Because as we come up on this month, we do not want another death. If we had one in August and one in September, we do not want a death in October of a police-involved shooting. Yes, we have the right to carry. That's our amendment right. But we want everyone to be safe. So let us work together as the community of Omaha, Nebraska, as the city of Omaha, Nebraska. It's not a North Omaha issue, it's a city issue. So let us come together. Thank you. You'll hear more from us in the days that lie ahead. Thank you. Yes.
What would justice be in this case?
Firing the officer, actually going the whole mile with the investigation, charges being brought up, because he cold-blooded murdered Steven Phipps with his hands up, and him asking them not to shoot him. So definitely charges and being fired.
Any other questions?
You guys heard that on the tape? I know they showed that to
Yes.
the family. What did you hear? I imagine you heard some stuff that we didn't hear.
Well, he just had his hands up like, okay, don't, like, basically don't shoot. Like, he was already down. There was no reason to just keep firing when a guy, you can see that on the video, he was scared. Like, okay, like. You got me. And then basically I feel like from the harassment, it's like, yeah, now we have you, But why though? Like, he was a working young man at that. Like, he worked. If they seen money online, or these kids have a problem with online having stuff up there and people looking at them a certain way because the portrayer or whatever it was. But Steven worked.
He had two
His
jobs.
money came from working. That's the bottom line. He was scared. He had his hands up.
Do we have a record of the pullover? Should be a record each time the officer engaged him.
Okay.
I think that'd be important.
Okay.
I'm from this community, so I had two brothers who got killed. So I talk about procedure every week in regards to dealing with police and guns. Well, what's going to be done different in regards to the church has always been the mover and shakers of the community. It's always going to start with God. That's going to be the foundation.
Yes.
And so we got three members of the church. What's the church going to do? Because you have the full thrust of all the congregations of this community. What's the plan? Because
We're coming together first so that we can have a conversation. And then we will also have a 24-hour prayer service that we will have one day. And as we continue to get that set up, yes, we are praying, we're asking God to intervene and that justice would prevail, but we have to come together as a unified body and continue to work so that there is peace and harmony.
Can I make one suggestion? It seems it needs to be some type of mediation, some type of conflict resolution. The church is only open, I think, on Sundays and Wednesdays. And if we can have some conflict resolution, some type of mediation from the those that represent God, I think that would be also a solution, and also an opportunity where we can educate our young people, so we can start tomorrow. We don't have to wait. So we can start that tomorrow.
Okay.
And start the education process. We have all of these associations from our brothers in the South and Hispanic brothers, as well as the African American Priesthood Association. Have them come in here, that's their responsibility. And we start educating. So it won't happen. And if it does happen, some things we can't control. But at least we can start proactively. And then also on the legal side, we really need to get the NAACP involved, because that's their responsibility to provide the legal. And creating law school was a part of that process. And we need to start engaging our educational institutions so our students can start, we can start educating our future defenders, law defenders. I'm a former probation officer. I do this for real. Reverend Reynolds was engaged with the law school, and every time something happened, no law school student working. They have a civil rights division. You will never have a civil rights division. If we're not using those students to engage in these type of activities so we can have a constant workforce, and preparing the next generation, then we're doing the same thing over. I'm tired of going to this stuff. We're doing the same thing over and over. We're too smart for that. So the church needed to do that. The church was always the staple. If you're gonna represent God, get over, move over. You're scared, move over. But we need God on this, for real.
Right. And so we hear you.
And hopefully all the denominations to come together. I'm gonna ask all denominations, Muslims, Christians, Jews,
It's time.
Jehovah's Witnesses.
Right. It's time for action and
Period.
advocacy.
It started tomorrow.
So one thing I wanted to say in response to, in addition to what family members said, is that in my opinion of seeing that video, there was no time when Mr. Phipps was a threat to the police. I think that's really important.
Yes, no
There was
threat at all.
no time when he was a threat.
At all. That's why it was harassment. They knew, I feel like they knew exactly who he was. One of them, whoever did it, they knew him. They said his name too, so somebody had to, and they was harassing him. He was scared. I'm scared now when cops pull me over. My adrenaline rushes and my heartbeat, because I don't know what to come out of it. You know, like she said, we're here again. It was just 30 days ago, and now we're doing this with my cousin. She's not even there to even stand before y'all, but she loved her son. That was her everything. She lost her baby when she was younger to SIDS at 6 months, and it hurts to lose another child this way when she have 3 kids and just now got 1. That's hurtful. What do you tell a mother? What do you say? You know, it's hurtful. He didn't deserve that. They could have let that boy run off then. Y'all had the license plate stuff. Y'all had his address. Y'all knew where he was. Just like y'all showed on TV. Y'all showed his the car information, registration. Go to his house. Why he had to be gunned down? Why he can't live? They ain't never seen him behind the bars. Not one time. That's not right. My cousin is hurting. She ain't even here because she's hurting. But I am.
Brother Womack, you got an opinion on this?
Well, as a legal gun owner who has taken all the courses for carry and conceal, one of the things I know that you're to be told to a police officer, whether state trooper, is that when you have your carry and conceal, you're supposed to inform them that you have that. And you're supposed to have that on your person all the time. I think that in the state of Nebraska, with the previous legislation that some of our legislators presented where you don't have to have a permit, I think that convoluted the waters and created a real hugga-mugga for this community, specifically for young black men who are unfamiliar with gun laws. And that's where I think our police department, our sheriff's department need to be more informative as to what your rights are as an individual who has the right to carry and conceal. I think, being that I've taken the training and I'm a member of the NAACP, I would love to tell a lot of these young black men in our community what they need to do in order to save their own lives. And then I think we can collect the necessary data to define whether or not the police department is overly aggressive to a certain extent. Because if they're starting to follow the laws the right way, then there's no need to have these shootings the way that they're happening in this community.